The Book of Enoch is an extraordinary text that offers a profound glimpse into the heavens, revealing their structure, inhabitants and purposes as witnessed by Enoch himself. Taken to the realms beyond earth while still alive, Enoch's journey through the heavens is a testament to his righteousness and God's favor. In this detailed narrative, I will guide you through the 10 heavens as described in the Book of Enoch, highlighting the awe-inspiring visions and the lessons they hold for us today. Before we dive in, let me clarify. My ultimate goal is to lead you closer to the Most High. My intent is not to encourage the worship of angels or any heavenly beings, but to glorify God, who is the Creator and Sovereign of all. With that said, let us explore the heavens through Enoch's eyes. The story of Enoch begins with a remarkable premise. He was one of the few people in history to ascend to heaven while still alive. The Bible mentions another individual, the prophet Elijah, who was also taken to heaven without tasting death. According to the opening of the Book of Enoch, God chose Enoch, a wise man and skilled artisan, to behold his kingdom. This wasn't a mere vision, it was a first-hand journey into the highest realms of existence. The text says, "The Lord took him away, loving him, so that he might witness the unchanging and glorious kingdom of God Almighty, the shining ranks of his servants, and his immovable throne." Enoch was to see the multitude of heavenly elements, the organization of angelic armies, the cherubim's unending songs, and the indescribable beauty of the light that surrounds the Lord. God's favor on Enoch was unparalleled, and through his eyes we are given a rare glimpse into the workings of heaven. Enoch recounts that it all began with a dream that left him deeply disturbed. In the dream, he saw 2 immense beings, unlike anything he had ever encountered. When he awoke, the same beings were standing by his bed, radiant and awe-inspiring. Enoch describes them. Their faces shone like the sun, their eyes burned like fiery lamps, and fire flowed from their mouths. Their clothing gleamed with brilliance, and their wings shone brighter than gold. Their hands were whiter than snow. Terrified, Enoch bowed before them. His face changed with fear. The beings reassured him, saying, "Be brave, Enoch. Do not fear. The eternal God has sent us to you. Today you will ascend with us to heaven." Enoch obeyed, leaving his family with instructions about how to live in his absence. The angels then lifted him up, carrying him into the skies on their magnificent wings. Enoch's journey into the heavens began in the first heaven, a realm situated directly above the firmament that separates the waters above from the waters below. This concept of the firmament is rooted in Genesis 1:7, where the Bible describes it as a vast, dome-like structure created by God during the formation of the world. As Enoch entered this heavenly plane, he was immediately struck by the immensity of what he saw, a boundless ocean, far greater in size and majesty than any sea on earth. Its vast expanse shimmered with a divine brilliance, reminding him of the power and creativity of the Creator who governs all. Within this ethereal realm, Enoch encountered a group of mysterious figures known as the Elders. These beings, cloaked in an aura of wisdom and authority, seemed to embody the order and governance of the heavens. Alongside them were 200 angels, each appointed to oversee the stars and the intricate movements of the celestial bodies. These angels carried out their divine duties with precision, ensuring that the heavenly lights moved according to God's perfect plan. The first heaven revealed to Enoch a glimpse of the harmony and balance that underpins creation. The vast ocean and the angelic beings demonstrated the beauty and order of God's design, where even the stars are governed by His will. It was a humbling and awe-inspiring introduction to the wonders that awaited him in the higher realms. For Enoch, this was only the beginning, a first step into a journey that would take him closer to the heart of God's majesty. As Enoch ascended to the second heaven, the stark contrast to the brightness of the first heaven was immediately apparent. This realm was enveloped in a profound and unsettling darkness, far deeper than anything experienced on earth. It was not a place of peace, but of anguish, where Enoch witnessed fallen angels, once glorious beings, imprisoned and tormented, awaiting the day of divine judgment. Their faces, shadowed and sorrowful, bore the heavy weight of regret, and their ceaseless cries echoed throughout the vast expanse, creating an atmosphere of despair. Enoch, moved by the sight of their suffering, asked his angelic guides why these beings were condemned to such a fate. The angels explained, "These are the ones who turned away from the Lord, disobeying his commandments. They followed their own will and aligned themselves with their prince, who is restrained in the fifth heaven." These were the watchers, the angels who had rebelled against God's authority, abandoning their divine purpose to pursue their own desires. Their rebellion had not only led to their fall, but also caused chaos and corruption on earth, a legacy that demanded severe judgment. The second heaven served as a grim warning of the consequences of defying God's will. It was a place of accountability, where even the mightiest of beings faced the justice of the Creator. For Enoch, the experience was a reminder of the unshakable righteousness. The cries of the fallen angels echoed in his mind, serving as a powerful reminder of how serious the consequences are for the choices we made in service or rebellion against the Most High. The third heaven was a striking contrast to the profound darkness and despair of the second heaven. This realm, known as paradise, was a place of indescribable beauty and peace, filled with the radiance of God's blessings. As Enoch arrived, he beheld a stunning landscape overflowing with life. Towering trees blossomed with flowers of every color, their sweet fragrances filling the air. Their fruits, ripe and abundant, glistened with a heavenly glow, while streams of honey, milk, oil, and wine flowed gently across the land, creating an atmosphere of divine abundance. At the very center of this paradise stood the Tree of Life, a magnificent symbol of God's eternal goodness. Its glowing branches shimmered with hues of crimson and gold, and its roots stretched down to the edge of the earth. The Tree of Life emanated a sense of holiness and beauty beyond human comprehension, a testament to the Creator's majesty. The angels accompanying Enoch explained that this heavenly paradise was prepared for the righteous, those who lived their lives in accordance with God's will. These were the people who showed compassion to the poor, fed the hungry, clothed the naked, and walked in humility and justice before the Lord. This was their eternal reward, a place of rest and joy beyond imagination. However, not all of the third heaven was serene. Enoch was also shown the northern region, a place of torment reserved for the wicked. This dark and terrifying area was marked by rivers of fire and unquenchable flames, where those who practiced witchcraft, idolatry, and other grave sins faced eternal punishment. The imagery of this fiery region closely mirrors biblical depictions of hell, reminding Enoch and all who hear his story of the serious consequences of turning away from God's righteousness. In the fourth heaven, Enoch was granted a remarkable vision of the celestial mechanics that govern the cosmos. This realm was alive with divine order, where the sun, moon, and stars moved with perfect precision under the guidance of angelic beings. Enoch marveled at the radiant light of the sun, which was 7 times greater than that of the moon. Each celestial body followed its ordained path, illuminating creation and marking the passage of time with unwavering consistency. Enoch observed legions of angels attending to the sun and moon, ensuring their movements were harmonious and exact. These angels carried out their sacred duties with diligence, guiding the celestial bodies in their revolutions and maintaining the balance of the heavens. He describes in awe, 4 great stars accompanied the sun, each commanding 1,000 stars beneath them. At night, flaming 6-winged angels took up their stations, guiding the sun's chariot through the heavens. The 4th heaven revealed to Enoch the extraordinary complexity of God's creation. It wasn't merely the brilliance of the sun or the silvery glow of the moon that amazed him. It was the careful orchestration behind every movement. The stars, the winds, and the heavenly lights all moved in unison, a testament to the Creator's wisdom and power. This vision was a profound reminder of the divine order that governs the universe. Every detail, from the rise of the sun to the phases of the moon, was part of God's flawless design. For Enoch, the 4th heaven was a glimpse into the majesty of the Creator's plan, a harmonious symphony that underscored the perfection of his will. The 5th heaven was a somber and haunting place, a realm overshadowed by the weight of regret and rebellion. Here, Enoch encountered the Grigori, also known as the Watchers, angels who had once held noble roles in God's divine order. These beings, originally created to watch over humanity, had forsaken their heavenly duties. Overcome by desire, they descended to earth, took human wives, and fathered the Nephilim, a race of giants whose presence brought corruption and violence to the world. Enoch beheld the Grigori standing in silence, their enormous forms still and lifeless. Their faces were withered, etched with sorrow and regret. Once radiant and glorious, they now bore the marks of their fall from grace, weighed down by the destruction they had unleashed on earth. The angels, accompanying Enoch, explained that the Grigori were condemned to this state, their punishment a period of perpetual grief and anticipation of the final judgment. While they had been granted immense power and responsibility, their disobedience led to chaos and suffering, and their failure to uphold God's will rendered them unworthy of their former glory. For Enoch, the 5th heaven was a somber lesson about the devastating consequences of straying from God's path. It served as a stark warning that even the most powerful beings are not immune to the consequences of rebellion. The sight of the fallen watchers, now filled with despair, reinforced the cost of forsaking his commandments. The 6th heaven was a realm of unparalleled light and harmony, a place where divine order and beauty were on full display. Enoch marveled at the radiant brilliance of this realm, where the glory of God was reflected in every corner. Here, 7 bands of angels dedicated themselves to studying the intricate workings of the universe. These celestial beings observed the movements of the stars, the revolutions of the cosmos, and the phases of the moon, ensuring that all functioned according to God's perfect design. These angels were not only keepers of knowledge, but also worshippers of unparalleled devotion. Their songs of praise echoed throughout the 6th heaven, melodies so pure and beautiful that Enoch found them beyond description. The harmonies of their voices intertwined with the light of the realm, creating an atmosphere of reverence and joy that words could not fully capture. Among these angelic hosts were the mighty archangels, beings of great authority and responsibility. Tasked with overseeing the angels and the natural order of creation, the archangels acted as stewards of the divine will. They ensured that the balance of the heavens and the earth was maintained, standing as guardians of God's cosmic masterpiece. For Enoch, the 6th heaven was a vision of divine precision and worship, where every movement and every sound was a testament to God's glory. This realm reminded him of the unity and harmony that come from living in accordance with God's will. It was a place of both awe and inspiration, a glimpse into the beauty that unfolds when creation fulfills its purpose in perfect alignment with the Creator's plan. The seventh heaven was the pinnacle of Enoch's journey, the most terrifying and awe-inspiring realm he had encountered. This was the dwelling place of the fiery armies of angels, a host so magnificent and powerful that their presence was almost overwhelming. Among them were the cherubim, the seraphim, and the many-eyed thrones, each radiating an intensity of light and power that reflected their nearness to the Creator. Their brilliance filled the expanse, and their ceaseless songs of worship echoed like thunder, vibrating with a reverence that was both majestic and humbling. These celestial beings encircled the throne of God, which blazed with boundless light and an indescribable splendor. Enoch was struck by the immensity of the scene before him. The light emanating from the throne was so pure and overwhelming that he fell to his face in fear, trembling before the holiness of the Almighty. Every part of the seventh heaven radiated the glory of God, and the vast hosts of angels worshipped him with unwavering devotion. In this moment of awe and terror, God, in his infinite mercy, commanded the archangel Michael to lift Enoch up. Michael approached Enoch with kindness, helping him to stand before the Lord's presence. By God's order, Michael clothed Enoch in garments of glory and anointed him with radiant heavenly oil. This transformation was profound. Enoch, now adorned in celestial garments, became like the angels, his earthly form replaced with a radiant heavenly likeness. For Enoch, the seventh heaven was both humbling and transformative, a powerful reminder of God's holiness and mercy. It marked the culmination of his journey, bringing him into the presence of the Creator and preparing him for his eternal purpose as a witness to God's majesty. The eighth heaven, known as Muoth, was a realm of cosmic influence where the delicate balance of seasons and the movements of celestial bodies. In this majestic domain, Enoch observed the changes of seasons, entities tasked with guiding the transitions between times of drought and rain, heat and cold. Here, the cycles of nature were harmonized with divine precision, ensuring that the earth would continue to thrive under God's perfect order. Alongside these changes, the movements of the zodiac were carefully managed, influencing the rhythm of the heavens and their connection to the created world below. The ninth heaven, called Kavim, served as the heavenly dwelling place of the constellations. This realm was the cosmic map of the stars, a sanctuary for the vast and intricate patterns that illuminate the night sky. Each constellation, from its smallest detail to its grandest form, was housed here, radiating with a brilliance that spoke to the Creator's infinite wisdom. In Kavim, the order of the constellations was preserved, their courses set in alignment with God's will. Though these heavens are described only briefly in Enoch's account, their significance cannot be overstated. Together, the eighth and ninth heavens demonstrate the interconnectedness of the cosmos and the earth, with every movement of the heavens influencing life below. For Enoch, these realms revealed the vastness of God's sovereignty, where even the stars and seasons operate under his command. These heavens were a testament to God's intricate design, a reminder that all creation works in harmony to fulfill his divine purpose. At last, Enoch was brought to the 10th heaven, the highest of all realms, where God himself resides in unmatched glory and majesty. This was the pinnacle of his journey, the sacred dwelling place of the Creator. As Enoch beheld the presence of God, he described his face as radiating an indescribable brilliance, glowing like molten iron pulled from a fiery furnace, emitting sparks and flames. The sheer intensity of God's appearance filled Enoch with awe and reverent fear, leaving him overwhelmed by the magnitude of divine holiness and power. Surrounding the throne of God were countless cherubim and seraphim, angelic beings of the highest rank, their forms radiating light and splendor. These heavenly hosts sang songs of endless praise, their voices blending in a harmonious symphony that glorified God without ceasing. Their worship resonated through the 10th heaven, a testament to the Creator's unchanging greatness and eternal sovereignty. In the midst of this overwhelming vision, God spoke with authority and compassion, declaring, "Let Enoch dwell before my face for eternity." By his command, Enoch was transformed. The archangel Michael clothed him in celestial garments and anointed him with a radiant heavenly oil that emanated the brilliance of the stars. No longer bound by earthly limitations, Enoch was made like the angels, his form now suited for eternal life in the presence of God. This final stage of Enoch's journey revealed the ultimate purpose of his ascent: to stand before God, witness his glory, and serve as a testimony to humanity of the Creator's majesty, justice, and love. The 10th heaven, with its indescribable light and unceasing worship, offered Enoch, and through him all of us, a glimpse of the eternal where God reigns supreme. Enoch's journey through the heavens stands as a profound testament to the majesty, justice, and mercy of God. Each realm he visited unveiled a new dimension of God's character, his unyielding righteousness, his boundless mercy, and his intricate design for all of creation. Through Enoch's eyes, we see the consequences of rebellion and the eternal suffering that awaits those who turn away from God. At the same time, we are reminded of the indescribable reward awaiting the righteous, those who live in obedience and devotion to the Most High. May Enoch's journey inspire you to draw nearer to God, deepening your faith and strengthening your commitment to walk in His ways. Let it remind you of the eternal glory that awaits those who choose righteousness and the seriousness of living a life aligned with His commandments. If this exploration has touched your heart, consider sharing it with others who may need to be reminded of God's greatness. Together, let us honor and glorify the one who reigns supreme over heaven and earth, the Almighty God. History, as we've been taught, is a collection of events shaped by the legacies of kings, empires, and great minds that pushed the boundaries of human potential. We've been told about the evolution of humanity, from primitive hunter-gatherers to the creators of vast empires, writers of sacred texts, and architects of awe-inspiring monuments. But what if this narrative is incomplete? What if we've overlooked a secret history? A story that connects humanity not just to the terrestrial but to the celestial? The Book of Enoch, a text that lay forgotten for centuries, provides a glimpse into an enigmatic past that mainstream scholars often dismiss as myth. This ancient manuscript, part of the Dead Sea Scrolls, challenges the conventional understanding of human history. It suggests that our ancestors may have had encounters not just with gods or angels, but with celestial beings, perhaps extraterrestrials. As we journey through the mysterious and often overlooked accounts in the Book of Enoch, we will unravel the possibility that these ancient events were not just metaphorical stories, but perhaps even historical records of humanity's interaction with beings from beyond our planet. Our story begins in 1947, when a young Bedouin shepherd named Muhammad Ed Hibin, while searching for a lost goat near Qumran, stumbled upon one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of the 20th century, the Dead Sea Scrolls. In a cave on the northwest shore of the Dead Sea, he found clay jars containing ancient papyrus scrolls wrapped in linen. These scrolls, dating back over 2,000 years, were later recognized as invaluable records of early Jewish thought, including biblical texts, apocryphal works, and sectarian writings from a group believed to be the Essenes. Among these ancient scrolls was a mysterious non-canonical text, the Book of Enoch. Though largely unknown in Western religious tradition, this text held profound significance for early Jewish and Christian sects. It described events and characters absent from the canonical Bible, offering a new perspective on the pre-flood world and a much deeper narrative involving angels, fallen beings, and apocalyptic visions. Enoch is a fascinating figure mentioned briefly in the Book of Genesis. The text tells us that Enoch walked with God and then was taken from the earth at the age of 365 years, long before the catastrophic flood. Unlike other biblical patriarchs who lived to great ages, Enoch's departure was unique. He was no more because God took him away. This mysterious passage sparked centuries of speculation about his fate. The Book of Enoch, however, greatly expands on this brief biblical mention, describing him as not only a righteous man, but also a scribe who received divine revelations and journeyed into heavenly realms. Enoch's unique relationship with God gave him access to profound mysteries about the cosmos, creation, and the fate of humanity. Revelations that seem to go far beyond the scope of any other biblical figure. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Book of Enoch is the detailed account of his interactions with the Watchers, a group of angels who descended to Earth and played a pivotal role in humanity's history. The first part of the Book of Enoch, known as the Book of Watchers, tells the story of angels, called the Watchers, who were sent to Earth to observe humanity. Instead of merely watching, these angels defied God's commandments by taking human wives and teaching forbidden knowledge to mankind. The offspring of these unions were the Nephilim, giant beings who brought chaos and destruction to the world. The Watchers taught humanity various arts and sciences, metallurgy, medicine, astrology, and weaponry, transforming the human race. While these gifts might have seemed beneficial, they ultimately led to widespread corruption and lawlessness. The Nephilim, described as giants with immense strength, began to dominate and destroy humanity, and the natural balance of the world was shattered. This story in the Book of Enoch echoes the brief mention in Genesis 6:1-4, which speaks of sons of God taking human wives and producing a race of giants. However, the Book of Enoch provides far more detail, presenting a complex and morally ambiguous tale of rebellion, forbidden knowledge, and divine judgment. The narrative of the Watchers raises profound questions. Could these celestial beings have been more than just angels? Some theorists have proposed that the Watchers were, in fact, advanced extraterrestrial beings who came to Earth in the distant past, sharing their knowledge and technology with early humans. The Book of Enoch describes the Watchers descending from the heavens, bringing knowledge far beyond what humans could have achieved at the time. This scenario bears striking similarities to other ancient accounts of gods or divine beings descending from the sky. In Sumerian mythology, for instance, the Anunnaki were a group of deities who came from the heavens to guide humanity's development. The parallels between the Watchers and the Anunnaki are difficult to ignore. Ancient astronaut theorists such as Zecharia Sitchin and Erich von Däniken have argued that many ancient texts, including the Book of Enoch, are not allegorical but historical accounts of early contact between humanity and extraterrestrial visitors. Could the Watchers have been such visitors? The detailed descriptions of their actions, the technologies they shared, and their interactions with humanity suggest that they may have been more than spiritual beings. They could have been advanced beings from another world. One of the most fascinating parts of the Book of Enoch is its description of Enoch's celestial journeys. After being chosen by God, Enoch is taken up into the heavens, where he is shown the workings of the cosmos, the movements of the stars and planets, and the fate of both humanity and the fallen angels. The astronomical book, one of the 5 sections of the Book of Enoch, contains detailed descriptions of the celestial bodies and their movements, revealing an advanced understanding of astronomy that would have been impossible for humans of that era. Some scholars have noted that these descriptions align with knowledge that wasn't discovered by modern science until millennia later. Could this suggest that Enoch was given access to knowledge from an advanced civilization, possibly of extraterrestrial origin? As Enoch travels through the heavens, he encounters various celestial beings, including the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. These beings guide him and provide him with further knowledge about the divine order, the impending judgment on the Watchers, and the ultimate destiny of humanity. The Book of Enoch describes the heavens not merely as a spiritual realm, but as a place filled with structured order, cosmic bodies, and even multiple dimensions. This portrayal of the universe is remarkably similar to modern theories of space-time and parallel universes, leading some to wonder if Enoch's journeys were not symbolic, but actual explorations of other worlds or dimensions facilitated by advanced technology. In later Jewish mystical traditions, Enoch's story takes an even more remarkable turn. According to the Sefer HaHechalot, Book of Palaces, and other Kabbalistic texts, Enoch is transformed into the archangel Metatron after his ascension into the heavens. In these texts, Enoch undergoes a dramatic metamorphosis, becoming a powerful angelic being who serves as a celestial scribe and an intermediary between God and humanity. Metatron is one of the highest-ranking angels in Jewish mystical thought, sometimes described as the Lesser YHWH, because of his proximity to God and his role in governing the divine realms. Enoch's transformation into Metatron signifies not only his deep spiritual wisdom, but also the possibility that humans can attain higher levels of existence through divine grace. This transformation raises a profound question. If Enoch, a human, could be transformed into an angelic being, could there be other instances in history where humans ascended to higher realms of existence? Could this be evidence of ancient spiritual practices that enabled individuals to transcend their physical forms and achieve a kind of cosmic immortality? Despite its profound influence on early Jewish and Christian thought, the Book of Enoch was excluded from the canonical Bible. Why? One reason lies in the political and theological dynamics of early Christianity. The process of canonizing the Bible was not only about religious doctrine, but also about consolidating power. Certain texts, such as the Book of Enoch, were seen as too radical or controversial because they introduced concepts of celestial beings and cosmic events that didn't align with the emerging Orthodox beliefs. Moreover, the Book of Enoch presents a vision of divine judgment and cosmic order that is more complex than the simpler narratives found in the canonical Bible. It speaks of celestial hierarchies, the corruption of divine beings, and the possibility of extraterrestrial influences, ideas that would have been difficult to reconcile with the emerging Christian worldview. However, the exclusion of the Book of Enoch from the Bible did not erase its influence. Early Christian writers such as Tertullian and Origen referenced it, and it remained a key text for the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which still considers it part of the biblical canon. Its impact on Jewish mysticism, Christian apocrypha, and even Islamic traditions suggests that its ideas were too powerful to be completely forgotten. The striking similarities between the Watchers of the Book of Enoch and the Anunnaki of Sumerian mythology cannot be overlooked. Both are described as celestial beings who descended to Earth, interacted with humans, and shared advanced knowledge. Could the Watchers and the Anunnaki be different names for the same group of beings? The ancient Sumerians described the Anunnaki as gods who came from the sky and taught humanity how to build cities, establish laws, and study the stars. These beings were often depicted as giants or beings with divine attributes, much like the Nephilim, the offspring of the Watchers in the Book of Enoch. What's more, both traditions describe the eventual downfall of these celestial beings. The Watchers were punished by God and imprisoned in the underworld, while the Anunnaki, according to some interpretations, either left Earth or faced a similar judgment from their own kind. In both cases, the consequences of their actions led to a great cataclysm, the flood in the Bible and Sumerian myth, which wiped out the corrupted world they had created. One of the most compelling aspects of the Book of Enoch is its description of the forbidden knowledge that the Watchers imparted to humanity. This knowledge included not only metallurgy and weaponry, but also astronomy, medicine, and writing. Could this be evidence of advanced technology shared by an extraterrestrial civilization? Ancient astronaut theorists have long pointed to the precision with which ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians and the Mayans, aligned their monuments with celestial bodies. How did they gain such advanced astronomical knowledge? The Book of Enoch suggests that the Watchers taught humans how to read the stars and understand the movements of celestial bodies. This knowledge may have been passed down through generations and used to construct monumental structures like the pyramids of Giza and Stonehenge, structures that continue to baffle modern engineers and archaeologists with their precision and complexity. Moreover, the Watchers' teachings on metallurgy and mining may provide insight into why gold became so deeply significant in ancient cultures. According to the Book of Enoch, these fallen angels shared forbidden knowledge with humans, including the secrets of crafting metals and mining valuable resources. This knowledge would have revolutionized early civilizations, giving them access to tools and precious materials that enhanced both their daily lives and spiritual practices. Among these materials, gold stood out, not just for its physical beauty, but for its perceived divine qualities. In many ancient cultures, gold was revered as a symbol of purity, immortality, and divine connection. The ancient Egyptians, in particular, held gold in the highest esteem, associating it with the sun god Ra, and using it extensively in temples, tombs, and the adornment of their rulers. Pharaohs were often buried in gold-laden tombs, believing that the material would help secure their passage to the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that gold was an indestructible metal, symbolizing the eternal nature of the gods. Could the reverence for gold and its central role in ancient spiritual practices have been influenced by the Watchers' teachings? If these celestial beings imparted their advanced knowledge of metallurgy to humanity, it is possible that their emphasis on gold transcended its material value, imbuing it with spiritual and mystical significance. The Watchers, as otherworldly entities, may have introduced gold as not merely a resource, but as a substance with inherent sacred properties, a bridge between the mortal and divine realms. This influence could explain why ancient cultures worldwide place such spiritual importance on gold, viewing it as a divine gift from the heavens, handed down by celestial beings. The existence of the Nephilim, the offspring of the Watchers and human women, has been a subject of fascination and debate for centuries. Both the Bible and the Book of Enoch describe these beings as giants, creatures of extraordinary size and strength who roamed the earth and caused great destruction. In Genesis 6:4, the Nephilim are referred to as the mighty men of old, while the Book of Enoch offers a more detailed account, portraying them as a race born from the union of celestial beings and humans, whose wickedness and violence contributed to the corruption of the world before the Great Flood. But were the Nephilim merely mythical figures, or could they have been real, historical beings? Throughout history, there have been numerous reports of archaeological discoveries of giant skeletons, some allegedly measuring up to 12 feet tall. These findings, though often controversial, have sparked widespread interest. However, many of these discoveries have been dismissed or allegedly suppressed by mainstream science, leading to speculation that evidence of the Nephilim may have been deliberately covered up. If such giants truly existed, it would not only validate the accounts found in ancient texts like the Book of Enoch, but also suggest that these stories were not merely allegorical. The existence of Nephilim would imply that ancient peoples had first-hand encounters with beings of immense power and size, possibly the result of interactions between humans and other worldly entities. This opens the door to the possibility that ancient myths, rather than being symbolic or metaphorical, may contain kernels of historical truth about a forgotten chapter of human history, one that includes the presence of giants who once walked the earth. As we explore the mysteries of the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, and the Nephilim, one thing becomes clear. The history we've been taught may only be a fraction of the truth. Ancient texts from cultures around the world speak of beings from the heavens, advanced knowledge, and cataclysmic events that reshaped humanity's destiny. Whether these beings were angels, gods, or extraterrestrials, their influence on early human civilization is undeniable. The story of Enoch serves as a powerful reminder that the history of humanity is filled with mysteries we have yet to fully comprehend. Enoch's life, as portrayed in both the Bible and the Book of Enoch, hints at a deeper, more complex narrative about the origins of human knowledge, our relationship with celestial beings, and the unseen forces that may have shaped our early history. His experiences with the Watchers and his ascension into the heavens suggest that ancient peoples were aware of realities beyond our material world, realities that modern science is only beginning to explore. As we continue to uncover and study ancient texts, including those once dismissed as myth or legend, we may find that they hold hidden truths about our past. These accounts, often filled with references to divine beings, angelic messengers, and cosmic events, could be glimpses into a time when humanity's connection to the heavens was more direct and intimate. The Book of Enoch stands as a testament to humanity's ancient quest for understanding the universe and our place within it. Whether viewed as myth, allegory, or historical record, its messages continue to captivate and inspire those willing to explore the hidden truths of our past. As we advance in our own technological and spiritual journeys, perhaps we will find that the story of Enoch holds the key to unlocking the mysteries of our origins, both earthly and cosmic. So stay curious, keep an open mind, and until we meet again. The Bible, often referred to as the Word of God, is a sacred text that has shaped the beliefs, values, and cultures of billions of people throughout history. It contains 66 books, spanning from Genesis to Revelation, and serves as a comprehensive guide on spirituality, morality, and the history of the human race from a divine perspective. Yet throughout the Bible, there are references to other ancient books, mysterious texts that no longer exist, which once held significance for the people of Israel. These books, mentioned in passing in various parts of the Old Testament, have been lost to time, leaving behind a sense of intrigue and curiosity. Who wrote them? What were their contents? Why were they lost? And what can we learn from the fact that the Bible, in its final form, was compiled without these texts? In this video, we will explore several of these lost books: the Book of Jasher, the Book of the Wars of the Lord, the books of Samuel, Nathan, and Gad, the Book of Enoch, and several others. By delving into their significance, the context in which they were mentioned, and the theological and historical implications of their loss, we can better understand the Bible's enduring legacy and the selective nature of the texts that have survived. One of the most intriguing lost books is the Book of Jasher, or Sefer HaYashar in Hebrew, which is mentioned twice in the Old Testament. The first reference occurs in the book of Joshua during one of the most dramatic and miraculous events in the Bible, the halting of the sun during the Battle of Beth Horon. In Joshua 10:12-13, the story unfolds. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day when the Lord handed over the Amorites to the sons of Israel. And he said, in the sight of Israel, "Sun, stand still at Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Aijalon." So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, until the nation of Israel took vengeance upon their enemies. Is it not written in the book of Jasher? The text implies that the book of Jasher contained additional details about this extraordinary event. The second mention of this book appears in 2 Samuel 1:18, where David's lament for Saul and Jonathan is recorded, and he told them to teach the sons of Judah the song of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. From these references, scholars speculate that the book of Jasher may have been a collection of poems, songs, and heroic tales, similar to an ancient epic. It likely celebrated the victories and accomplishments of Israel's leaders, particularly in times of war. The name Jasher means upright or just, which has led some to believe that the book focused on the deeds of righteous individuals who fought on behalf of Israel. However, the true nature of this book remains shrouded in mystery. While it is mentioned in the Bible, it has not survived the passage of time. Interestingly, a book titled The Book of Jasher surfaced in the 18th century, claiming to be the lost biblical text. This version, however, is widely regarded as a forgery, bearing no authentic connection to the ancient work referenced in the Bible. More recently, a fictionalized version of the Book of Jasher has been written by author Benjamin Rosenbaum, but it is entirely speculative and creative in nature. The disappearance of the original Book of Jasher raises many questions. Why was it lost? Did its contents not meet the divine criteria for inclusion in the biblical canon? Or was it simply a casualty of time, lost in the numerous invasions, wars, and displacements that Israel experienced throughout its history? While we may never know the answers, the mention of this book serves as a reminder that the Bible is but a portion of the rich literary and historical tradition that once flourished in ancient Israel. Another enigmatic text referenced in the Bible is the Book of the Wars of the Lord. It is mentioned briefly in Numbers 21:14 during Israel's wilderness journey. Therefore it is said in the Book of the Wars of the Lord, Waheb in Suphah, and the valleys of the Arnon, and the slope of the valleys that extends to the seat of Ar, and leans to the border of Moab. This brief citation offers no clear indication of the book's content, but its title, The Wars of the Lord, suggests it may have been a record of battles fought by or for the Lord. Some scholars speculate that the book may have contained accounts of God's intervention in Israel's military campaigns, events like the crossing of the Red Sea, the defeat of the Amalekites, or the conquest of Canaan. Interestingly, the phrase, "the wars of the Lord," could be interpreted in multiple ways. It might refer to battles where divine intervention played a critical role, or it could denote metaphorical spiritual struggles between good and evil, righteousness and wickedness. Ancient Hebrew texts often used war imagery to describe cosmic conflicts, so the book may have included both physical and spiritual warfare. The Book of the Wars of the Lord also highlights an important point about Hebrew literature. Titles often revealed little about the actual content. For instance, the Book of Exodus is called Shemot in Hebrew, meaning names, because the book begins with a list of the names of the sons of Israel. Thus, the title of the Book of the Wars of the Lord may not fully encapsulate its subject matter, but it certainly suggests that it played a crucial role in preserving Israel's historical and spiritual memory. Like the Book of Jasher, this book has been lost to history, and no known copies exist. However, its inclusion in the biblical narrative implies that it was once a well-known and accessible text for ancient Israelites. It likely served as a geographical or military reference, documenting key battles and victories, and possibly serving as a source of national pride. The reign of King David, one of Israel's most important historical and religious figures, is well documented in the books of Samuel and Kings. However, the Bible also references other sources of information about David's life, specifically the books of Samuel, Nathan the prophet, and Gad the seer. These books are mentioned in 1 Chronicles 29:29. Now the acts of King David, from first to last, are written in the Chronicles of Samuel the seer, and in the Chronicles of Nathan the prophet, and in the Chronicles of Gad the seer. These three men, Samuel, Nathan, and Gad, were prophets who played pivotal roles during David's reign. Samuel, who anointed David as king, was Israel's last judge and a prophet who acted as a bridge between the period of the judges and the monarchy. Nathan was a close advisor to David, delivering the famous rebuke after David's sin with Bathsheba. Gad was another prophet who served David, advising him during some of the kingdom's most critical moments. The reference to these books suggests that they were official records or annals of David's reign, documenting the king's military campaigns, political decisions, and personal struggles. Ancient monarchs often commissioned such works to preserve their legacies, and it was common for prophets to be involved in the recording of history, offering not only a factual account, but also a divine perspective on the events. Unfortunately, like many other texts from ancient Israel, the books of Samuel, Nathan, and Gad have not survived. Their disappearance leaves a significant gap in our understanding of David's reign. What more might we have learned about this pivotal king if these books had been preserved? Would they have provided further insight into David's complex character, his strengths and weaknesses, his faith and failures? The loss of these texts is a poignant reminder of the fragility of historical records and the selective nature of the biblical canon. Of all the lost books mentioned in the Bible, none has captured the imagination of scholars and theologians quite like the Book of Enoch. This text, attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, is mentioned in the New Testament in the Book of Jude. It was about these people that Enoch, in the 7th chapter of the Book of Jude, 7th generation from Adam, prophesied, saying, "Behold, the Lord came with many thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all and to convict all the ungodly of all their ungodly deeds." This passage is a direct quotation from the Book of Enoch, specifically 1 Enoch, a collection of apocalyptic visions and prophecies. The book describes Enoch's journey through the heavens, his visions of divine judgment, and his interactions with angelic beings. It also contains vivid descriptions of the coming of the Messiah and the final judgment of humanity. While the Book of Enoch is not part of the canonical Bible, it was widely read and respected in early Jewish and Christian communities. Several copies of 1 Enoch were discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls, suggesting that it was considered an important religious text. However, over time, it fell out of favor in mainstream Judaism and Christianity, and today it is considered apocryphal. The inclusion of the Book of Enoch in Jude raises interesting questions about the nature of divine inspiration. Jude's use of Enoch suggests that certain ideas or prophecies from non-canonical sources were still regarded as truthful or relevant in the early church. However, this does not necessarily mean that the entire Book of Enoch should be considered divinely inspired. Just as Paul quoted the works of pagan poets in Titus 1:12, Jude's reference to Enoch may simply indicate that he found a particular passage relevant to his message. The Book of Enoch offers a fascinating glimpse into ancient Jewish apocalyptic thought. Its elaborate descriptions of heavenly realms, angelic beings, and eschatological events provide a striking contrast to the more restrained visions found in canonical texts like Revelation. While it is not considered part of the Bible, the Book of Enoch remains a valuable resource for understanding the religious and theological context of the Second Temple period. Throughout the books of Kings and Chronicles, there are frequent references to the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah and the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. These records, which no longer exist, are mentioned as primary sources for the biblical authors who compiled the narratives of the monarchs of the northern and southern kingdoms. For example, 1 Kings 14:19 reads, "Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, how he made war and how he reigned, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel." Similarly, 1 Kings 14:29 mentions the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. "Now the rest of the acts of Rehoboam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah?" These lost books likely contained detailed accounts of the political, military, and religious activities of the kings of Israel and Judah. While the Bible provides a summary of their reigns, these records would have offered a more comprehensive view of the monarch's achievements and failures. The fact that the biblical authors frequently refer to these chronicles suggests that they were important sources of historical information. However, like many other ancient texts, they have been lost to time. Their absence raises important questions about how history was recorded and preserved in the ancient world. How much of Israel's and Judah's history has been lost, and what criteria were used to determine which events were included in the Bible and which were left out? The prophet Iddo is another mysterious figure in the Bible, known for his visions and writings. In 2 Chronicles 13:22 we read, "Now the rest of the acts of Abijah, his ways and his sayings, are written in the story of the prophet Iddo." The loss of Iddo's writings deprives us of yet another valuable source of insight into the early years of the divided monarchy, a crucial period in Israel's history marked by political instability, internal conflict, and the divergence of the northern and southern kingdoms. Iddo, a prophet and seer, played a significant role during the reign of King Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, who ruled over Judah after the northern tribes seceded to form the Kingdom of Israel under Jeroboam. The early years of the divided monarchy were a time of heightened tension, as Israel and Judah struggled to establish their identities as separate entities while grappling with the spiritual and political consequences of this division. Iddo's writings, mentioned in 2 Chronicles 13:22, referred to as the story of the prophet Iddo, or the Midrash of Iddo, likely contained valuable records of the actions, decisions, and prophetic declarations made during this turbulent time. These writings could have shed light on the spiritual climate in Judah and the role of the prophets in guiding or critiquing the monarchy. They might have provided additional context for the events surrounding King Rehoboam's reign, particularly his failed attempt to reunite the kingdom and his subsequent efforts to stabilize Judah amidst external threats from Egypt and internal dissent. Iddo's perspective, as a seer who was attuned to divine messages, would have offered a spiritual dimension to these political events. highlighting how divine intervention and human decisions intertwined in shaping Judah's destiny. The loss of these writings also highlights the fragile nature of ancient texts. Like many other prophetic books mentioned in the Bible but no longer available to us, Iddo's work has been lost to history. This reminds us that the preservation of biblical texts was often subject to the vicissitudes of time, wars, invasions, exile, and the degradation of manuscripts over centuries. The fact that Iddo's writings are mentioned in chronicles suggests that they were considered significant enough to be noted. Yet, like other ancient records, they were not preserved alongside the canonical texts. The final lost book we will explore is the words of Shemaiah the prophet, mentioned in 2 Chronicles 12:15. Now the acts of Rehoboam, from first to last, are they not written in the records of Shemaiah the prophet and of Iddo the seer? Shemaiah is best known for his intervention during the early reign of King Rehoboam. When Rehoboam gathered an army to fight against the northern tribes of Israel who had seceded under Jeroboam, Shemaiah delivered a message from God. "This thing is from me. You shall not go up or fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me." Shemaiah's prophecy averted a civil war and helped preserve the unity of the Israelite people, at least temporarily. His lost writings, referred to in chronicles, likely contained further details of his prophetic ministry and the events of Rehoboam's reign. Like the other lost books, the words of Shemaiah have not survived, but their mention in the Bible suggests that they were once considered valuable records of Israel's prophetic tradition. The lost books of the Bible offer tantalizing glimpses into the rich literary and historical tradition of ancient Israel. While these texts have not survived, their mention in the Bible serves as a reminder that the biblical narrative is part of a larger, more complex history. The Bible, as we have it today, was carefully curated and preserved, with certain texts chosen for inclusion, while others were left out or lost to time. These lost books challenge us to reflect on the nature of divine inspiration and the process by which the Bible was compiled. They remind us that the Bible is not merely a historical document, but a theological and spiritual text, shaped by the hand of God and the decisions of the human authors who recorded it. Ultimately, the Bible's enduring power lies not in the completeness of its historical record, but in its profound ability to convey timeless truths about God, humanity, and the relationship between the two. While the lost books of the Bible are intriguing and spark curiosity, their mention only enriches our appreciation for the depth of the biblical tradition and the significance of the scriptures that have survived through the centuries. The Bible, as it stands, remains a living, breathing testimony of faith, offering guidance, wisdom, and inspiration to those who seek to understand God's will and their place in His divine plan. Thank you for taking the time to explore this fascinating journey through biblical history with us. If you found value in this discussion and would like to deepen your understanding of Scripture, we encourage you to subscribe to Bible Wisdom. By joining our community, you'll stay connected with thoughtful reflections, insightful teachings, and a deeper dive into the rich legacy of the Bible. Let's continue this journey together, seeking wisdom, knowledge, and the transformative power of God's Word.